In the case of Comcast, I mean, you all had a long conversation. In fact, I think that was probably one of the more popular recent shows you've done with Brother Byron Allen. That has the potential to really transform everything. In a nutshell, and I know you all talked about this in great detail, so I won't go back over it again, but the Civil Rights Act of 1866 comes immediately after the Civil War, before the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, and it is an attempt to enshrine the constitutional protections of the country to the black citizens before they pass the constitutional amendments. Why is that important? Number one, that act has never been repealed. It's never been overturned. So to have an ingenious strategy, as we see in the Allen case, to use that as a weapon means you're going to force the courts, ultimately the Supreme Court, to have to decide which side of history they want to be on. Because as far as we're all concerned, it is those Reconstruction laws, beginning with the Civil Rights Act of 1866, followed by the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, that really frame the struggle for citizenship in this country for people of African descent.
What if he loses?
Well, if he loses, what this country has decided is this takes us back.
And this is the same Supreme Court with that same Chief Justice that you just talked about that ruled in the favor of the police.
Well, this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of it. These people have to decide whether they're going to pick their whiteness or their lives. Because if you look at the Civil Rights Act of 1866, 9 years before that is when Roger Taney wrote the majority opinion in Dred Scott versus Sanford. And Taney does this ridiculous thing where he separates between federal citizenship and state citizenship. This is where the states' rights business comes in. If you rule against Allen in this, you're threatening to put a knife on, as Chinua Achebe would say in Things Fall Apart, you putting the knife on the thing that holds us together. So what's going to stop California from passing more stringent rules? What's going to stop Texas or North Carolina from passing different rules? And ultimately, you're talking about dissolving the United States. What will it look like when certain states say we're going to have states' rights, except our states' rights are going to give more rights to people? And if they get around to terminating Roe, the same thing. Okay, so you can't get on no megabus in Georgia and ride it up to Maryland and terminate your pregnancy. Why? Because states' rights in Maryland are good. States' rights in Georgia, you got to deal with. This country could come apart. They're not just, this isn't a war against one black man.
Do you think they know that?
Oh, of course they know it.
Do you think they really know that, Dr. Gray Carr? Do you think they really know that?
You push me. No, of course they know it. And how do we know they know it? Because through the Electoral College, they realize the demographics now have shifted. It's never going to be a majority white country. In fact, the children under 5 and 6 years old in this country are already majority non-white. They are now playing to rally their wagons for their final stand. That's why they're packing the federal courts. And all that time, when I don't mean Republicans, no. White supremacists. Period. They are packing the courts to try to use the law as their last resolve. They're going to write off whole parts of the country. They already have. And so this, not only do they know it, they're playing the only card they have left if they don't want to have a true country where everybody can live. And we know they don't want that. So yes, they know it. This is their only card.
So your prediction is that they're going to rule against him?
Well, I would say if I had to guess sitting here, and I don't practice law, I have a JD, but I decided not to practice.
Look at that.
No, man. That's why I was reading, because I teach a lot of this at Howard Law School twice a week. But if I had to predict, I'd say, yeah, it's a very good likely. Because, I mean, think about it.
So move your asses to New York and D.C.
That is the rule.
So we're going to end up having a segregated nation anyway. Well, the thing that people have wanted.
That's all right.
It's never not been said.
It's never not been.
I mean, but really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Well,
California's looking nice too.
Well, that's one possible outcome. And like Stacey Abrams, when she ran for governor, when you go into rural Georgia and tell these poor white people, look, if we give $1 to the federal government, we get 9 back and your hospital stays open. They have literally chosen their whiteness over their lives.
Right.
Now, the hope is ultimately they will choose differently. But if they do not, the demographics are changing. It won't be like this for long.